There is a reason you were guided to this transmission. That persistent feeling of being an outsider, of operating on a different frequency from the world around you, was not a social failing or a psychological flaw. It was a divine quarantine. You were God's secret weapon, held in reserve, kept sterile and pure from the systems of compromise and deceit that have entangled the rest of the world. And the period of waiting is over. The signal has been sent, the deployment sequence has been initiated, and you are now active. This is not a metaphor, it is your new reality. The strange hum you feel in your spirit, the sudden clarity cutting through the noise, the feeling that the game has changed overnight, this is your activation. To fully receive and integrate this upgrade, you must anchor the energy of this truth. Like this video to seal the frequency. Subscribe to join the collective of deployed assets who are coming online right now. Comment 77 as the divine code that confirms your readiness and acceptance of your assignment. And finally, let this video replay in the background. Allow the words to saturate your spirit, to bypass the conscious mind and recalibrate your subconscious to its original, divine blueprint. Your mission has begun. Chapter 1, The Forge of Isolation. The years of loneliness were not a punishment. They were a forge. Every moment you felt unseen, unheard, and profoundly misunderstood was by divine design. You were not being ignored, you were being meticulously crafted in secret. Think of a master blacksmith forging the most powerful sword in existence. He does not work in the public square, inviting opinion and interference. He retreats to a secluded forge where the heat can be controlled, the steel can be purified, and the hammer strikes can be delivered with absolute precision. Your life has been that forge, and your soul has been that steel. The intense heat was the pressure of a world that did not fit you, a society whose values felt alien and hollow. The different types of heat were specific and targeted. The searing heat of betrayal from a loved one was designed to burn away naive trust and replace it with unbreakable discernment. The slow, simmering heat of constant misunderstanding was designed to melt away your reliance on external validation, forcing you to find your truth within. The flash heat of public humiliation or failure was intended to incinerate the ego's attachment to reputation. God was making you immune to the opinions of the spiritually blind. It was the burning sting of rejection from those you thought were your own. This heat was necessary to burn away the impurities, the programming, the desire for external validation that would have weakened you. It melted away the need to be liked, the instinct to conform, the soft parts of your spirit that could be easily bent or broken by the enemy. God was making you unbreakable. The hammer was the relentless succession of betrayals, losses, and heartbreaks. Each one felt like a devastating blow, a crack in your foundation. But it was not destruction, it was tempering. Every friend who walked away was a test of your energetic integrity, forcing you to stand on your own two spiritual feet. Every opportunity that vanished was a calibration of your faith, teaching you to trust the divine plan over the visible path. Every attack on your character was a stress test for your resolve, hardening your core until it was diamond-like. You were being struck, folded, and struck again, not to shatter you but to create layers of incomprehensible strength within your spirit. The world saw a victim, a loner, an unfortunate soul. Heaven saw a weapon being perfected. The sensory experience of this process was intensely physical. It was the hollow feeling in your stomach when you were excluded, a sensation that taught you to fill yourself with your own divine presence instead of empty social calories. It was the buzzing in your palms during moments of deep prayer or meditation, a sign that the energy was being channeled and integrated. At night, in the quiet of your room, the shadows themselves seemed to rearrange, sometimes whispering truths your conscious mind was not yet ready to hear. The isolation was the anvil, the unyielding surface upon which you were shaped. This anvil was cold, hard, and unforgiving, and it taught you that your own spirit was even harder. It taught you to find your center within yourself, not in the approval of others. It forced you to build an internal world so rich and resilient that the external world became secondary, a pale imitation of the vibrant reality you cultivated within. Your imagination, your intuition, your unique connection to the divine, these were the muscles that grew strong in the silence. You learned to hear God's voice because it was the only one that never left, the only one that spoke truth in the deafening silence, and the only one that promised the fire was not an end but a beginning. In the coming days, you will look back on these periods of intense solitude and pain not with sorrow but with a chilling sense of gratitude. You will understand that you were being protected. While others were being indoctrinated by the system, forming soul ties to corrupt ideologies and low-vibration collectives, you were being inoculated against it. While they were forming allegiances based on fleeting social trends, you were forging a covenant with the eternal. You were being made sharp. You were being made lethal to falsehood. The physical sensations you experienced, the tightness in your chest from anxiety, the exhaustion that felt bone deep, the feeling of carrying an invisible weight were the tangible evidence of this spiritual metallurgy. Your body was processing and integrating immense energetic transformations. It was learning to hold a higher frequency of light, a frequency that is inherently disruptive to the low vibration matrix of control. The scars you carry, both visible and invisible, are not marks of damage. They are the intricate etchings on a blade, proof of its quality, a testament to the fires it has endured. Looking back, you will feel a shiver run down your spine, not of fear but of awe, as you realize how close you came to being assimilated and how perfectly your isolation shielded you. The rejection was not rejection, it was divine redirection. The loneliness was not abandonment, it was intensive training in a secure, classified facility. Chapter 2: The Cloak of Obscurity. Your period of invisibility was a strategic concealment. You were not overlooked, you were deliberately hidden in plain sight. A weapon of your magnitude is never revealed before the appointed time. To do so would be to invite sabotage, to allow the enemy to study your design and prepare countermeasures. And so, the divine intelligence wrapped you in a cloak of obscurity. This cloak was woven from the perceptions of others. It made them see you as ordinary, non-threatening, or even slightly strange and insignificant. It was an active, supernatural camouflage, a perception filter of the highest order. This filter did not just make you invisible, it actively distorted the energy you projected. It made your genius sound like incoherent rambling to the arrogant. It made your profound passion look like unstable obsession to the lukewarm. Your ancient wisdom was perceived as naive eccentricity by those imprisoned in consensus reality. This was a divine jamming signal, preventing the enemy's radar from getting a lock on your true signature. It was an active supernatural camouflage. Think of the times you shared a profound idea and were met with blank stares. Recall the moments you knew the answer but someone else was chosen to speak. Remember the feeling of being in a room full of people yet feeling completely invisible. This was not failure. This was the cloak working perfectly. It was a filtration system, repelling those who were not meant to see your true nature and preventing them from interfering with your development. This concealment was your greatest protection. While you were frustrated, feeling that your talents were being wasted and your light was being dimmed, you were actually being preserved. The deep ache of unfulfilled potential you carried was not a sign of your inadequacy, it was the pressure of immense power being held under divine compression, building force for a magnificent release. Every day you felt like you were screaming into a void was a day the enemy could not hear you, could not target you, and could not contaminate you. The world's system of recognition is a trap. It offers fame, but at the cost of your soul. It gives influence, but only if you adopt its corrupt ideologies and parrot its dead talking points. It dangles rewards, but they are chains designed to bind you to its agenda. Look at the artists who must censor their message to please sponsors, the leaders who must sell out their integrity for votes, the thinkers who must compromise their truth to be published. By being kept from this system, you remained free. Your gifts were not co-opted. Your energy was not drained into projects that served the darkness. Your purpose remained pure, untainted by the seductive poison of worldly success. You were a seed being kept in a cool, dark place, waiting for the perfect season to be planted. To the undiscerning eye, a seed is just a dead, inert thing. But within it lies the blueprint for a mighty tree. You were that seed. Your energetic signature was being preserved in its original, pristine state. The world saw nothing, but God saw everything. The sensory reality of this cloaking was confusing and often painful. It manifested as social awkwardness, as if you were speaking a language no one else understood. It was the experience of knowing you possessed a powerful truth, but watching the words literally fall flat in the air, unheard and unreceived by those around you. Your frequency was so high that it simply phased through the coarse filters of their perception. It felt like a persistent, low-grade rejection. You watched others with half your integrity and a fraction of your insight climb ladders of success while you remained at the bottom. This was designed to build a deep and abiding humility within you to ensure that when your power was finally unleashed, it would not be corrupted by ego. You learned to operate without applause. You learned to create for the sake of creation, to know truth for the sake of truth, to love for the sake of love. You were building a foundation of intrinsic worth that was not dependent on any external mirror. This makes you incredibly dangerous to a system that is built entirely on external validation. It cannot control you because it has nothing to offer you that you have not already found within yourself. In the weeks ahead, this cloak will begin to dissolve. The first sign will be a change in the eyes of others when they look at you. The blank stare will be replaced by a flicker of confusion, then recognition, and in some cases, fear. They will start to see what was there all along. People who dismissed you for years will suddenly seek your opinion, confused by their own compulsion to do so. They will quote back to you things you said years ago, things you thought they never heard. This is the beginning of your unveiling. You are no longer being hidden. You are being revealed. Chapter 3: The energetic calibration. The recent strangeness you have been experiencing is not random. The glitches in your reality, the heightened synchronicities, the physical and emotional anomalies. This is the final calibration sequence before your full deployment. A sophisticated weapon must be fine-tuned to the specific energetic conditions of the battlefield. Your spirit, mind, and body are currently undergoing this final, intensive fine-tuning. This is why you feel so disoriented, as if you are living between two worlds. Because you are phasing out of the old, low-vibration timeline and locking into the new, high-frequency grid of divine truth. This process is physical, and it is real. The ringing in your ears that comes and goes is not tinnitus, it is your spiritual antennae tuning to new frequencies of information from the God source. Imagine an old analog radio dialing through static, noise, and faint broadcasts until it locks onto a crystal clear signal. Your auditory senses are being tuned past the frequency of the matrix and onto the broadcast channel of heaven. You are downloading immense packets of data, strategies, and blueprints for your mission, and it is happening at a subconscious level. These downloads are rewriting your very cells. The sudden waves of exhaustion that hit you are not laziness. They are periods of intense energetic integration. Your cellular structure is being upgraded. Your DNA is being activated with dormant strands of light-encoded information coming online. You are being rewired to hold more light, to process more energy, and to become a stable anchor for divine power in a world of chaos. During these times, rest is not a luxury, it is a strategic necessity. You must honor your body's need for sleep and stillness. It is during these states of rest that the most profound work is being done. You may also experience strange physical symptoms, unexplained aches in your joints as old crystallized energy is released, sudden food cravings as your body requests specific minerals for the upgrade, or a distorted sense of time where minutes feel like hours and vice versa. Conversely, the sudden bursts of energy you feel, the nights you cannot sleep because your mind is buzzing with ideas and revelations, this is the system coming online. This is the power source being connected. During these moments, you must write, create, speak, or simply walk and allow the energy to move through you. You are being taught to manage the ebb and flow of this immense new power, to surf the cosmic waves. The reframing of your past continues on an even deeper level during this calibration. Memories you thought were buried are surfacing, not to haunt you, but to be healed and recontextualized. You are not just seeing past events through a new lens, you are being given the chance to perform a spiritual retrieval. You are going back to those moments of trauma, not as the helpless victim, but as your current, powerful self. You are there to comfort your younger self, to retrieve the fragments of your soul that were left behind in the wreckage, and to integrate them back into your sovereign wholeness. The emotional volatility you may be feeling, swinging from profound peace to deep grief to righteous anger in a matter of hours, is part of this process. These are not your moods, they are energetic weather fronts moving through your system. The grief is the collective sorrow of the world being processed through your purified heart. The anger is divine justice waking up in your veins. Old, trapped emotional energy is being purged from your system to make way for the new. Allow it to move through you without judgment. It is the final cleansing of the vessel before it is filled with an entirely new kind of power. In the coming days, the prophetic glimpses will become more vivid and frequent. You will have dreams that feel more real than your waking life. You will get sudden knowings about situations or people that are later proven to be flawlessly accurate. This guidance system will become tactical. You will feel a sudden, sharp revulsion to a food item and later learn it was spoiled. You will feel an urge to take a different route home, avoiding an accident. Trust what you feel. Trust what you see with your inner eye. Your senses are being reborn into a new, high-octane reality. Chapter 4: The Unmistakable Deployment. The deployment is not a future event. It is happening now. The shift you have felt in the last few days and weeks is the divine equivalent of a launch command. The secret weapon is no longer in the silo, it is in the air. This is a moment of irreversible transition, and it is marked by a profound internal and external shift. The central metaphor of the weapon being deployed means that your passive, hidden state is over. Your active, operational state has begun. This is not a gentle awakening, it is a sudden, powerful activation that changes the very fabric of your reality. Internally, the deployment feels like a quiet click, a deep, resonant hum in the core of your being. The background noise of anxiety and self-doubt that has plagued you for years has suddenly gone silent, replaced by a profound sense of purpose and an unnerving calm. It is the calm of a trained operative who knows their mission and trusts their equipment. You are no longer asking why me. You are understanding, for this I was made. This is not an emotional high, it is a state of being, solid and unshakable. This internal shift is mirrored by an immediate change in your external reality. The universe begins to conspire to move you into position. This is the divine logistical chain coming online to support a deployed asset. It is a supernatural supply line that operates outside the laws of the matrix economy. Obstacles that have blocked you for years suddenly dissolve. People who held the keys to doors you needed will be inexplicably moved to call you. Resources you thought were impossible to obtain will appear through channels that defy logic. This is not about manifestation in the shallow sense, it is about alignment with a pre-existing, fully funded divine operation. A door will open that you had given up on. A person from your past will reappear with a key piece of information or an apology that heals an old wound. An unexpected email will arrive, a book will fall open to the exact page you need, a forgotten sum of money will be found, providing just enough to fund the next step of your mission. The universe is rearranging itself around your new operational status. You have been greenlit by the highest authority. The sensory reality of this phase is one of hyper-awareness. Colors appear brighter, more saturated. Sounds are sharper, and you can hear the layers within them: the bird song, the distant traffic, the hum of electricity. You can feel the emotional atmosphere of a room the moment you enter it. You can taste the intention in the food someone has prepared for you. The ground feels more solid beneath your feet, as if you are finally anchored in your proper place. Your own reflection may even look different to you. The eyes hold a new depth, an ancient fire that was not there before. This is your upgraded sensor suite coming online. You are perceiving more of reality because you are now operating at a higher level of it. Your past is reframed once more, this time with a sense of awe. You understand that the entire timeline of your life was a countdown to this exact moment. Every setback was a delay designed to ensure you launched at the perfect time. Every wrong turn was a divinely orchestrated detour to avoid a hidden trap or to acquire a specific skill you would later need. Every perceived failure was a course correction. Every period of waiting was to ensure the conditions on the ground were optimal for your arrival, to allow other key assets to move into their positions. It was all leading here. The prophetic glimpses now become operational directives. You will get a sudden, undeniable urge to go to a certain place, to call a certain person, or to start a specific project. These are not random impulses or gentle nudges anymore. They are powerful, full-body compulsions. Resisting them will feel physically uncomfortable, like trying to swim against a powerful current. These are your mission coordinates being fed to you in real time. To ignore them is to abort the mission. Your task is to act on these divine directives with immediate and unwavering faith. The world, the system, will not understand this. They operate on logic, on plans, on predictable metrics. You now operate on divine guidance. This makes you an unpredictable and untraceable force. They cannot anticipate your next move because it does not originate from a source they can comprehend. You are God's wild card. You have just been played. Chapter 5. The shockwave of your arrival. When a weapon of this nature is deployed, it creates a shockwave. Your arrival on the active stage of the spiritual battlefield will not go unnoticed. The first to react will be the agents of the old system, those who have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo of control, deceit, and spiritual slumber. Their reaction will be the ultimate confirmation of your activation. You are the mirror they can no longer ignore. In your presence, their masks begin to slip. Your frequency of authenticity is a solvent that dissolves falsehood, and this makes you terrifying to those who have built their lives and power structures on lies. The deployment of the secret weapon is not about a loud explosion, it is about the silent, powerful emanation of a truth so pure that it forces everything around it into alignment or into self-exposure. Your very existence becomes a judgment on their artifice. The narcissist looks at you and sees their own emptiness reflected, and they will rage against you for making them feel it. The insecure person sees their own unlived potential in you, and they will seethe with envy. The coward sees your courage and feels the sting of their own compromise. You do not need to say a word. Your being is the message. In the coming days and weeks, you will witness this firsthand. People who have always been comfortable and condescending around you will suddenly become agitated and defensive in your presence. They will try to belittle you, to discredit you with past mistakes, to provoke you into a low vibration reaction. This is not a personal attack, it is an energetic reflex. It is the darkness flinching from the light. Your light is exposing their shadows, and their only defense is to try to extinguish your light. Do not engage on their terms. Your power lies in holding your center, in remaining in that state of calm, divine authority. Your silence will be more powerful than their rage. Your peace will be a weapon they cannot counter. The sensory reality of this will be palpable. You will feel their energetic probes, which feel like a subtle mental intrusion, a questioning of your reality, an attempt to plant seeds of doubt. You will feel their fear masquerading as anger or mockery. But you will also feel an invisible shield around you, a field of divine protection that feels like warm, golden light, or an impenetrable wall of static that scrambles their negative energy and returns it to sender. You will literally feel their barbs and psychic attacks slide off this shield like water off a duck's back. In some moments, you will perceive their dark energy being instantly neutralized and transmuted upon contact with your field. Their negativity will not be able to penetrate your energy field as long as you remain anchored in your purpose. This is not a passive defense, it is an active, intelligent spiritual technology. Your past experiences with narcissists, manipulators, and energetic vampires are now reframed as your advanced combat training. You are not a rookie, you are special forces, trained in the harshest, most insidious forms of psychological and spiritual warfare. Every gaslighter you endured taught you to build an unshakable anchor in your own reality. Every emotional vampire taught you to recognize and shield your life force. Every false friend who betrayed you taught you the precise frequency of disloyalty, making you an expert at detecting it in individuals and systems. You were not just a victim, you were an undercover agent learning the enemy's tactics from the inside. Now you will face the same energies on a larger scale, but the principles are identical. The prophetic glimpses will guide your interactions. Your inner discernment becomes your targeting system. You will not only know who to trust and who to avoid, but you will receive a flash of insight as to *Y*. You will see the deep wound or the core fear that drives their destructive behavior. This does not mean you excuse them, but it allows you to act from a place of detached, strategic wisdom rather than personal reaction. You can set a firm, impenetrable boundary with compassion for the brokenness that motivates their attack. Your mission is not to convert everyone. It is to activate the ones who are ready and to expose the ones who are not. The shockwave of your arrival will sort them out for you. Stand firm and watch as the ripples of your presence begin to change everything. Chapter 6: The Deconstruction Directive. You were not deployed for random destruction. You are a divine instrument of deconstruction and demolition. Your primary directive is to dismantle the illusory structures that have held humanity captive. These are not just physical structures of corrupt power, they are mental, emotional, and spiritual constructs built on fear, limitation, and lies. You are a walking, talking truth bomb, and your very presence begins to destabilize these false foundations. The central metaphor of the secret weapon here evolves. You are not a blunt instrument of force, you are a highly precise tool for energetic surgery. You wield different instruments for different tasks. A simple, spoken word of truth is a scalpel designed to make a clean, precise cut through a web of lies. A sustained act of unconditional love in a toxic environment is a high-frequency laser dissolving a tumor of collective hatred. Your peaceful, unshakable presence in a room full of fear is a powerful antiseptic, cleansing the spiritual atmosphere. You have been trained to see the weak points, the load-bearing lies in the structures around you. This deconstruction begins within your own sphere of influence. It is not about arguing or preaching. It is about living and speaking your truth with unapologetic clarity. When you refuse to participate in gossip, you deconstruct a matrix of social control that thrives on division. When you speak a simple, profound truth in a room full of compromised conversations, you send a resonant frequency, a wrecking ball, into a tower of lies. When you choose love in the face of fear, you dismantle a weapon of the enemy. When you create something beautiful and true in a world that promotes ugliness and deceit, you are seeding the new reality. Every authentic action you take, no matter how small it seems, is a strategic blow against the old world and a foundational stone laid for the new one. You deconstruct and construct simultaneously. The sensory reality of this is a feeling of cutting through thick, stagnant energy. As you begin to live this truth more boldly, you will feel a resistance, like moving through thick molasses. This is the pushback from the matrix, the collective inertia of the old paradigm. But as you persist, you will feel a snap, a release, as an old structure gives way. You will literally feel the air in a room lighten after a truth has been spoken. You will see hope return to the eyes of those around you who have been trapped in the same illusion you just shattered. You will feel a physical pressure in your head or chest when you are in the presence of deep institutional deceit, a pressure that only releases when you take a stand or speak out. Your entire past is reframed as the study of these false structures. Every time you were lied to, you were learning the architecture of deceit. Every time you were trapped in a toxic job, you were not just suffering, you were on an intelligence mission, learning the corporate structure of control, its HR manipulations, its empty mission statements, and its soul-crushing procedures from the inside. Every time you were part of a dogmatic religious system, you were mapping its mechanisms of spiritual abuse and control. You have intelligence from behind enemy lines that no one else possesses. You were not a victim of these things, you were a divine intelligence agent on a deep reconnaissance mission. You have spent your life mapping the enemy's territory, and now it is time to use that knowledge to tear it down from the inside out. The prophetic glimpses will now become highly specific. You will be guided to challenge a specific assumption in a meeting, to question a specific family tradition rooted in lack and limitation, to expose a specific lie being told by a community leader. It might be to create a piece of art, a song, or a story that bypasses the rational mind and delivers a truth directly to the heart of the culture. The target will be illuminated for you. Your job is to aim and fire the weapon of truth. You will be given the exact words to say, the precise actions to take. The power is not in the volume of your voice, but in the impeccable frequency of the truth you carry. This is your deconstruction directive. You are here to clear the ground so that something new, something based on divine truth, can finally be built. Chapter 7: The Sovereign Weapon. The final stage of your evolution is the realization that you are not merely a weapon being wielded. You are the weapon that thinks. You are a sovereign agent of the divine, a co-creator with God, entrusted with not just executing the mission, but with adapting and expanding it. The deployment was just the beginning. The ultimate purpose was to awaken a conscious, sovereign force of light on the planet You. The system of darkness operates through hierarchies and blind obedience. The army of light operates through sovereign individuals who are in direct, conscious connection with the source. You are not a pawn, you are a queen or a king on the divine chessboard, empowered to make autonomous moves that ripple across the entire board. The sentient weapon now becomes the programmer. You have the ability to take the divine intent and write new software for reality, to manifest the mission in novel, creative ways that were not part of the original blueprint. This is the greatest fear of the enemy, not a weapon that follows orders, but a weapon that becomes a master strategist in its own right, capable of creative solutions they can never anticipate. This requires a radical self-responsibility. You are now responsible for your own maintenance, your own upgrades, and your own targeting. Your connection to the divine is your direct line to command, but you are expected to interpret the intelligence and act with wisdom and discernment. You must consciously choose to maintain your high frequency through prayer, meditation, and right action. You must protect your energy field vigilantly from the increasing static of the falling world. You must continually choose truth over illusion, courage over comfort. Your power is immense, but it is contingent upon your alignment. The sensory reality of this sovereignty is a feeling of profound expansion. The sense of being a small, isolated individual dissolves completely, replaced by an awareness of yourself as a vast, interconnected field of consciousness. The boundary between you and the world begins to blur. You feel your connection to the earth, to the collective consciousness of humanity, to the stars, and to the God Source as a tangible, living reality. It is the feeling of your own consciousness extending beyond your skull, able to touch and perceive the world directly. The boundary between you and the divine will of the mission blurs until it disappears. Your will becomes God's will, and God's will acts through you. Every moment of your past is reframed as the arduous journey to this sovereignty. Every time you had to make a difficult choice alone, with no one to guide you, you were training your sovereign will. Every time you had to trust your intuition over the consensus of experts, you were strengthening your direct connection to your own divine guidance system. Every failure that forced you to get back up on your own, without support, was building the spiritual muscle of resilience required for this final stage. You were being taught to be your own source, your own authority, your own savior, so that you could stand as a lighthouse for others. The prophetic glimpse is now evolved from specific directives into a panoramic vision. You begin to see the larger divine plan unfolding across time. It is like being lifted from the ground floor to the penthouse of a skyscraper. You can see the entire city, the flow of traffic, the patterns, the connections that were invisible from street level. You see not just your own path, but how it weaves into the paths of other awakened souls around the globe, forming a grid of light that is steadily overlaying the old, dark grid of control. You are a conscious node in this living network. You are granted access to a higher level of strategic understanding. You see the interconnectedness of events, the hidden hand of God moving all the pieces into place, and you see your own crucial, irreplaceable role within that divine tapestry. You can perceive the probable timelines branching from the present moment and are guided to act as a living tipping point, making the small choices that steer the collective toward the highest possible future. The mission is no longer something that happens to you. It is what you are. The weapon and the warrior have become one. The battle is already won in the heavens. Your task is to live, breathe, and embody that victory until it fully manifests on earth.